we'll start looking at number 2. So locking down the upper body. We'll look at a couple of different ways to do it. When we start locking down the upper body, it'll change slightly how we do number 1. Because we're going to have to shift our weight a little bit over to take care of this one. The nice thing about these is they happen in the order that they occur on the mat. So when you guys were doing a really nice job of blocking out the guard, what I saw is that the next problem that arose was keeping the guy flat on his back, right? You were keeping him from pulling guard, but he was escaping because he was able to get up on his side to create space. So when you're doing a good job of number 1, problem number 2 arises. Beautiful. And that's why we do it in that order. So if I'm blocking out his ability to pull guard, the very next thing that's always going to happen is he's going to start trying to get up on his side. He'll want to create space that way. So now we need to lock down the upper body. The first one we're going to look at is the shoulder justice, and I think it's a great pressure. It's a good one for everybody to have in their arsenal. So get around a little closer. I want you to see it's a little detailed, and people screw it up. So I want to work at how to generate a lot of force and pressure on the bottom guy. If you get the position just right, sometimes you'll get a tap just from the posture itself, which is cool. And if you don't get the tap, you're going to get a lot of compliance on the bottom guy. And that's what we want. So blocking out the guard with my knee. And then when I start locking down the upper body, I'm going to have to move in this direction a little bit. Like that. So I don't want to be at the halfway point of his body. I'm moving my body up here, which makes it easier to apply pressure. That little adjustment is what I need to do. I'm still keeping my knee over here on the hip, but I'm going to move my upper body here. And we're going to apply shoulder justice pressure. So first thing I'm going to do is get my arm as deep as I can. I'm going to grab right here under the armpit, deep, deep. And I'm going to pull like this. Just want to curve his spine a little bit. Like that. The next thing I'm going to do is take my shoulder and attach it to his chest, this shoulder. So I'm going to back it up, attach it to his chest. And then the last thing I have to do is apply pressure in that direction. So I'm going to move my shoulder in here like this, attach it, and then as I drop my hip, you can see the discomfort on his face. It applies a lot of pressure right here. A ton of pressure right there. If you get underneath the chin, if they don't tuck their chin and they allow you to get underneath the chin, you can almost pass somebody out on the pressure. In a roll, it doesn't happen real often because most guys, as soon as they start to feel the pressure, will start digging their chin in. But it does have the effect of keeping John's head turned in this direction. If his head's turned that way, he can't get up on this hip, not without breaking his neck. So it's a nice way to keep the guy from turning up on his side. So I got my knee blocking out the guard, and it's on his belt line. I'm going to slide in this direction a little bit so I'm over his shoulder girdle. It makes it easier. Grab under the armpit, pull his body a little bit. Take my shoulder, back, attach, like that. And then I'm just going to slide it into place along his jawline here. And then all I have to do is just take my left hip and drop it towards the mat a little bit. There. And I'm applying a pretty good amount of pressure there. You can see his face starting to turn purple a little bit. It's good pressure, and the pressure is right here. Right here. That seem reasonable? So it looks like this. Grab, pull offline a little bit, move your shoulder back, and drop it in like this. And then move it in the spot, and then apply the pressure with my hip here like this. Just lowering my hip. I don't have to turn in this direction. If I'm turning in this direction, it's not adding to the pressure. My hips never have to do anything but face the mat. So once I'm in the spot here, drop like this. Some people will attach this other hand, but it's not necessary. You can do all the pressure really comes from this one hand. Sometimes actually even do it with two hands on the near side, like that. Okay. Let's try it. You should be getting good pressure on the bottom guy's neck, and he'll tell you if you're getting it or not. So help each other out to get that right. Try it.